talking about ecosystems and maybe new ways of working, is there a business network or a social network that you feel adds value to yourself, but also to the business and the mission that you're trying to accomplish?
Oh, okay, that's a good question. So Silicon Valley is all about networking, and so I very often go to, of course, these networking events, and some of the ones that I think are really good quality are the ones organized by the Silicon Valley Forum, for instance. I also go to the more specific theme-oriented one. I mean, there are meetups, for instance, in health and digital health, mHealth, if you're interested in that industry. I think Silicon Vikings are doing a really good job also in promoting the Nordics here in Silicon Valley. So I like to go to those events. Also, of course, the Swedish American Chamber of Commerce, I mean, to name a few. But if I look at some of the networks that I've been part of earlier in my career, one which I think has been very valuable to me was actually an old network from my time at Ericsson, which was an old women's executive network that was very helpful. We still keep in touch. Most have left Ericsson by now, some have retired, but it's become a really good group of people to keep in touch with. Unfortunately, now that I'm here, I don't get to see them that often anymore, but fantastic women that were that really inspired me, so I have to give them credit for that.
Very nice. And I also know that you have some connection and linkage here to Stanford.
Yes.
Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yes, so I'm, thanks to the a relationship between Stanford and the Wallenberg Foundation, I'm also now a visiting scholar at Stanford and have the privilege of having Stanford as where my office is. So obviously that's an amazing platform to study what's happening in universities, and that's also part of my mission for Vinnova, is to really keep an eye on the evolution of universities and how bring that back to Sweden in different ways. We published a paper where we looked at some of the success factors at Stanford and Berkeley, and we compared it in a couple of Swedish universities. So it's a very good outpost also to see what the trends are in general, because Stanford is very much engaged in the community here. So I feel very privileged to have that as my base.
Very nice, and I'm sure they feel privileged to have you working there. So my final question to you then is, if you were a furniture,
oh my God,
what would you be?
Oh gosh. I don't know. If I were a furniture, I would like to be a wheelchair.
And tell us why.
Because it's not stationary, and it has a role to actually support and help, which I think is part of my role right now, and that's also something that brings me great joy, is when I've, for instance, managed to make that, help a company get that really good connection, or done something where I see something happening in someone else. I think that's it's very rewarding. So maybe a wheelchair, yeah.
Very good. And you are a fantastically inspiring leader. Thank you so much for sharing this with us.
Thank you.